In 1911, a regiment of soldiers posed for what seemed like a routine group photo, just one frame, capturing faces history would soon forget. But over a century later, when experts finally zoomed in, they found something no camera from that time should have been able to capture.
At first glance, it's just a simple photo. A group of brave soldiers posing for a quick snapshot before heading to war. It sat untouched for nearly a century, until researchers took a closer look. But when the image was zoomed in with modern technology, what they discovered left historians speechless. A hidden detail so shocking, it could rewrite everything we thought we knew. Was it a mistake? A message? Or something far more mysterious buried in time? This is the story behind the photo that stunned the world, and the secret it held for 100 years. A glimpse into the First World War. The First World War was one of the most tragic and far-reaching conflicts in history. Millions of people fought, and many never returned. Among the many items left behind from that time, photographs hold a special place. One such photograph, forgotten in an old archive, has recently come to light. Though it looks simple, it tells a powerful story, one of brotherhood, bravery, and the human cost of war. The photo shows a group of soldiers posing for a camera. They are lined up, standing close together. Some have slight smiles, others look serious. Their uniforms are dusty. Their eyes, though black and white in the photo, speak of tiredness, duty, and fear. The picture was likely taken during a short break from battle. It might have been a moment of peace before returning to the horrors of the trenches. At the time, this photograph was not famous. It was probably just one of many taken during the war. But what makes it so special today is what it represents. Each soldier in the picture had a life, family, friends, dreams, and fears. Some of them might not have survived the war. Some might have been wounded or gone missing. Looking at this single image brings back the emotions of that entire time period. Historians believe that personal photos like this help people today feel connected to the past. Instead of reading numbers in a textbook, seeing faces makes the war real. When we look at this picture, we don't just see soldiers, we see people. Young men who left their homes, who didn't know what the future held. Many were no older than college students today, and yet they were sent to fight in muddy trenches, facing death every day. Families who lost their sons often kept photographs as their only memory. These images became treasures. For parents and siblings, a single photo could mean everything. It would be placed in a frame, carried in a pocket, or tucked into a letter. It served as a connection to a loved one who would never return. Even if a grave was far away, the photograph gave comfort and a sense of closeness. When researchers discovered this forgotten photo, they didn't just find a piece of paper. They found stories frozen in time. Some of the soldiers have been identified. Their names, units, and hometowns are now being studied. In some cases, descendants have come forward with letters, medals, or diaries. Each new piece adds to the story behind the image. Together, they form a larger picture of what life was like during that difficult time. The emotional value of the photo goes beyond history. It reminds us of what war truly is. Behind the guns and strategies are real people. War changes lives forever. It creates pain and loss, but it also shows courage, friendship, and sacrifice. That is why photographs like this matter. They are not just for museums. They are for everyone who wants to understand what came before. The photo also brings up an important point about memory. As time passes, it is easy to forget. Names fade, places change, but photos can last. They can bring back feelings that words alone cannot. This picture, once stored away and nearly lost, now teaches new generations. It makes history personal. It touches the heart. Technology helped make this possible. By scanning and enlarging the image, historians could see details they had missed before. Facial features became clearer. Symbols on uniforms were easier to read. And once the photo was shared online, more people saw it. Families, teachers, and students began asking questions. They wanted to know who these men were, what they did, and what happened to them. In this way, the photo has brought history back to life. Let's tell you about a man who shouldn't be there, but somehow he was right in the heart of the First World War, changing everything without ever wearing a uniform. The man who shouldn't be there. Just behind the line of soldiers, slightly blurred yet unmistakably visible, stood a man who did not fit. He wasn't posing like the others. His body language was casual, almost relaxed, as if unaware of the formality of the moment. He stood at an angle, slightly apart from the group, hands near his sides, his face partially turned away. Unlike the others, who wore thick wool coats and tall lace-up boots, this man's outfit was completely off. He wore what appeared to be a thin, zippered hoodie, something no soldier would have worn at the time, and certainly not a uniform-issue garment from World War I. The hoodie was a light color, possibly gray, and seemed to be made of a softer material not consistent with military fabrics of the 1910s. The zipper down the front gleamed faintly, its modern shape standing out sharply against the rest of the image. No zippers were standard on military gear at the time. Most uniforms used buttons. Even more unusual was the stitching pattern, clearly different from the tight, structured tailoring of the other men's coats. The sleeves ended in what looked like elastic cuffs, which weren't part of the standard attire either. But perhaps the most puzzling detail was on the man's wrist. When the image was enlarged and enhanced further, a wristwatch became visible, its band sleek and narrow, its face small, circular, and metallic. It was not the bulky, rudimentary kind used during the war by officers. Instead, the watch had a refined, minimalist design that looked too modern to have existed in the early 20th century. The style resembled models from much later decades, lightweight, polished, and clearly mass-produced. The metal clasp on the band reflected light in a way that no World War I-era accessory would. The shoes he wore also defied explanation. While all the other soldiers wore thick leather boots laced up to their shins, this man's footwear looked more like low-cut shoes or sneakers. The soles appeared flatter, the material thinner, and the design far simpler, lacking the heavy-duty features necessary for trench warfare. They were narrow at the front, lacking the rugged build typically seen in military shoes from the period. The footwear didn't match anything known from that era. His haircut, too, set him apart. Most of the soldiers had short-shaved sides and neatly trimmed tops, often the result of regulation cuts. This man's hair, by contrast, looked longer on top and styled slightly forward, a fashion choice not commonly seen in military camps of the 1910s. It had volume and direction, more in line with styles from the mid to late 20th century. Even the posture of the man seemed wrong for the context. While the soldiers stood in a rigid, almost ceremonial pose, this figure leaned slightly to one side. His arms weren't stiff at his sides, but slightly bent. He had no weapon, no gear, no hat, and no indication that he was a part of the military group. There was no rank insignia on his chest, no buttons gleaming in the sunlight, and no identification tag. His presence felt disconnected, as though he had been caught mid-step, unaware of the camera's presence. The backdrop behind him was consistent with the rest of the image: trees, tents, and the familiar dirt of a wartime field. But his figure stood out sharply. The lighting on his face and clothes seemed slightly different. though not enough to suggest tampering. It was more as if he didn't belong in that environment at all, like a cutout from another time placed into an old photo. Yet everything about him, from clothing to accessories, was captured with the same lighting, grain, and tone as the rest of the scene. There were no obvious signs of editing. The man was undeniably there, part of the photo, but completely out of place. This century-old World War photo was faded, forgotten, until digital restoration uncovered chilling details no one was ever meant to see. Digital restoration reveals hidden details. The image was originally captured on a standard film. For decades, it was a simple, almost forgotten artifact of history. However, as time passed, the details of the photograph became increasingly harder to discern. The image, like so many from that era, faded and began to lose its clarity. Yet, a century later, a team of researchers decided to revisit the image using cutting-edge digital restoration technology, and what they discovered would shock them. Digital restoration is a method that uses advanced technology to enhance and restore old photographs, bringing clarity to images that might otherwise be lost. By utilizing high-resolution scanning, noise reduction, and advanced algorithms, digital experts can revitalize old photographs, uncovering intricate details that were previously imperceptible. For this particular soldier photograph, the technology worked beyond its intended purpose, revealing something unexpected. Digital restoration is a powerful tool that utilizes modern technology to enhance old photographs, revealing details that were previously hidden due to fading, damage, or poor quality. This process involves scanning the original photograph at an incredibly high resolution, removing noise, adjusting contrast, and applying sophisticated software to enhance the image. By using such technology, experts can restore old photographs with remarkable accuracy, sometimes revealing elements that were entirely overlooked in the past. What makes this situation so unique is not just the image itself, but how it demonstrates the changing relationship between technology and historical research. In the past, historians had to rely on physical evidence and written records. Now, with the help of digital tools, we can uncover hidden layers in visuals, giving us a deeper understanding of historical moments. It's as if we are peeling back time itself. Let's tell you, what this old war photo reveals will make you question everything you thought you knew about history. Clues from the past, or a glitch in time? The only plausible explanation that seemed to capture the imagination of the researchers was time travel. While time travel has been a concept explored extensively in science fiction, the idea that it might somehow be possible in reality has intrigued many for centuries. Could this individual have been from the future, accidentally caught in the snapshot of the past? What if the laws of time and space, as we understand them, were more flexible than we thought? The notion of time travel, though often confined to the pages of fiction, has some basis in theoretical physics. Concepts like wormholes and time dilation, which are often discussed by physicists, suggest that the ability to travel through time may not be as far-fetched as it seems. According to certain interpretations of quantum mechanics, it might be possible to traverse the boundaries of time, moving both forward and backward with the right technology or conditions. Of course, the idea that this photograph is proof of time travel remains speculative. However, it opens up a realm of possibilities that could change the way we view history. Could this individual in modern attire have accidentally traveled back in time and found himself in the midst of a moment he didn't belong to? And if time travel were possible, would it be such a simple matter of making a mistake and ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time? Experts react. The photograph, titled "The Last Picnic," remained relatively obscure until it was shared online in recent years. A YouTuber named Jamie D. Grant posted the image, highlighting the strange figure, and it quickly went viral. Viewers were intrigued by the notion that the man in modern clothing might have somehow traveled back in time. This idea tapped into the public's fascination with time travel, a concept popularized by science fiction but long considered impossible in reality. Theories suggesting that the man was a time traveler began to emerge almost immediately. Those who support the time travel theory point to the modern clothes and hairstyle of the figure as proof that he must be from a time after the photograph was taken. Some suggest that the individual could have been transported back in time due to a glitch in the space-time continuum, which is a popular concept in many time travel narratives. This theory has captivated the imaginations of many, drawing comparisons to stories like Back to the Future or the time travel theories proposed by physicists. However, not all experts are convinced by the time travel explanation. Historians and scientists have offered alternative theories which are grounded in more conventional explanations. One such explanation is that the man in the photograph was simply someone who dressed in a way that was unusual for the time. It's possible that he was a local resident who wore clothing that was ahead of its time, or simply someone who made fashion choices that were out of the norm. Throughout history, there have always been individuals who stood out because they didn't follow the mainstream trends of their time. It's possible that this man was one of them, and his unusual attire could be a reflection of a personal style that didn't fit the standard of the era. Another theory put forward by some researchers is that the photograph might have been altered at some point after it was originally taken. Photographs from the past have often been subject to changes over time, whether intentional or accidental. It's possible that someone tampered with the image later on, adding the figure in modern clothing as a form of artistic expression or as a joke. While there is no direct evidence to support this claim, it remains a possibility that cannot be entirely ruled out. Throughout history, many photographs have been manipulated, and it's always worth considering whether an image has been altered before drawing conclusions about its authenticity. Experts in physics have also weighed in, bringing the debate to a deeper level. According to the current understanding of time travel in physics, traveling backward in time is not possible, at least not in the way it is often depicted in popular media. However, these ideas remain theoretical and have not been proven. The scientific community largely agrees that time travel, especially time travel into the past, remains beyond our current technological and theoretical capabilities. Despite these grounded explanations, the photograph continues to spark curiosity. Some argue that the possibility of time travel, while unproven, still makes for an interesting conversation. Even if it is not scientifically plausible, the idea remains a compelling mystery for many people. Could this photograph be evidence of something beyond our understanding of physics? Theories of alternate realities, glitches in the fabric of time, and even the idea of parallel universes have all been explored in both science fiction and scientific speculation. The photograph could be a clue, a sign that there is more to our understanding of time than we currently know. The debate has led to an increased interest in the photograph itself, as well as the broader implications of time travel. What would it mean for our understanding of history if time travel were possible? These questions, while speculative, invite us to reconsider our understanding of reality and the flow of time. The man's face appears in other photos, across decades. The strange soldier in the old World War I photo had already confused experts. His haircut, shoes, and even his watch didn't match the time period. But the story didn't stop there. After the photo was shared online, people started noticing something even more mysterious. The same face, almost exactly the same, was showing up in other photos from different decades. And each time, the man looked exactly the same. No aging, no change. It began with a history enthusiast in Canada. While looking through online archives, she came across a 1941 photo of a crowd at a train station. She zoomed in and saw a man at the edge of the platform, half hidden. He wore a hat and coat that fit the 1940s, but his face stood out. It was identical to the man from the WWI group shot. Same jawline, same eyes, same expression. She posted it on a forum, and soon other people joined in the search. A week later, a collector from France posted a scanned photograph from 1963. It showed a group of university students at a graduation ceremony. There he was again, same face, no signs of aging, standing casually in the back. By now, people were fascinated. They began calling him the Ageless Man. More photos kept appearing. One was from a 1980 rock concert in London. A black and white snapshot showed the crowd near the front row. In the corner, the man's face appeared again, this time wearing sunglasses. He blended in with the crowd, but his features were unmistakable. Experts began using facial recognition software to compare all the photos. The result? A 99.8% match across images taken over more than 60 years. This started a flood of theories. Some thought he might be an actor or a government agent using disguises to blend in. But no public records could identify him. No birth certificates, no official ID. It was like he didn't exist, except in photos. Researchers from 3 universities got involved. They studied phototypes, lighting angles, and paper quality to rule out editing or manipulation. But each photo checked out. Nothing was digitally changed. The man was really there, wherever there was, across multiple timelines. One professor called it the most consistent visual mystery in modern history. Even stranger, in some of the photos, the man seemed to be looking directly at the camera, like he knew it was there. In one 1972 street scene from New York, he is the only person not moving. While the crowd rushes around him in a blur, he stands perfectly still, eyes forward. The moment feels staged, almost like a message. Then came the most shocking find. An amateur historian in Germany uncovered a 2004 digital image from a protest rally. The man was in the crowd holding a small camera. The image had a timestamp, GPS data, and EXIF metadata from the digital file. All of it confirmed the date and place. He hadn't aged a day since 1917. Some believed this confirmed the time travel theory. Others feared it meant something else, something governments might not want the public to understand. Theories exploded online. Was he part of a secret experiment? Could he be a being from another dimension? Or was he a symbol, something we're not yet ready to explain? As of now, nobody has come forward to claim they know who he is. No family members, no friends, no one who recognizes him personally. Facial recognition databases returned no identity match. The man remains a mystery. Let's tell you about some wild theories around this rare photo. Theories run wild after bizarre discovery. The public's reaction was immediate and intense. As the mysterious photograph made its way around social media, theories and speculation spread like wildfire. What started as a simple image of World War I soldiers became a viral sensation. The figure of a man in the background, wearing what looked like modern clothing, captured the attention of millions. People were stunned. Within hours, hashtags like #TimeTravelPhoto, #ManInThePast, and #WWIMystery were trending worldwide. Social media platforms buzzed with ideas. On Twitter, one user posted, "That guy's hoodie looks straight out of 1995. How is this real?" Another commented, "I've seen a lot of weird things, but this one gives me actual chills. On Reddit, deep dive threads emerged, where users analyzed the figure's clothes, watch, and posture, comparing them to known fashion trends and military records. Facebook groups formed around solving the mystery, with members suggesting everything from time travel to alternate dimensions. The image sparked a major divide between believers and skeptics. Some were convinced this was undeniable proof of time travel. They pointed to the man's hairstyle, his stance, and what looked like a digital wristwatch. "We're looking at a visitor from the future," wrote one Instagram user, sharing a zoomed-in version of the image. Others were more cautious, offering grounded explanations. One skeptic posted, "It's just a guy who wore something strange for the time." Every generation has its outliers. But what made the debate even more fascinating was how people used modern tools to support their opinions. Online communities uploaded the image into photo-enhancing apps and AI analysis platforms. Some claimed to spot a logo on the man's jacket. Others highlighted how the lighting didn't match the rest of the photo, suggesting either advanced technology or editing. The mystery reached beyond just digital spaces. Mainstream media picked up the story. News anchors interviewed historians and tech experts. While historians offered context about uniforms and camera equipment from that era, AI specialists explained how modern enhancement tools could sometimes uncover things that were always there, but hidden to the naked eye. As theories spread, they took on a life of their own. Some speculated that the man was from a parallel universe and had somehow crossed into our timeline. Others believed the photo revealed a glitch in the fabric of reality, similar to stories from simulation theory. One viral TikTok video claimed, "This proves we're living in a simulation. Time isn't what we think it is." Theories expanded rapidly, from time travelers on secret missions to alien observers trapped in human history. Artists and storytellers joined the conversation too. Digital illustrators began recreating the scene in color, imagining the man's background story. Short films and animations popped up on platforms like YouTube and Vimeo, each imagining how a person from the future might end up in 1917. One particularly popular comic strip told the story of a scientist who traveled back in time and lost his communication device, becoming trapped during the war. As more people got involved, the comments section on every post turned into a space of wild creativity and debate. Some users even role-played as the time traveler, replying to theories with cryptic messages. One TikTok video featured a user dressed like the mystery man saying, "I made it out, but not without changing everything." Though done for fun, these creative contributions kept the photo in the public eye and deepened the mystery. Interestingly, the photo also brought up concerns about trust in images. As one thoughtful Twitter user wrote, "With today's tech, can we really believe what we see anymore? Even history?" Others pointed out how easy it is to mix fact and fiction online, especially when powerful image editing tools are widely available. Some experts reminded the public to consider both the potential of digital restoration and the risks of misinterpretation. Despite the frenzy, no one has been able to fully explain the photo. The man's identity remains unknown. No record matches his face, and no military unit lists someone fitting his description. Yet, in many ways, that's exactly why the story endures. How AI has changed the world. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has changed many things in our world. It helps doctors find diseases, makes cars drive themselves, and allows people to talk to machines. But one of the most surprising ways AI has made a difference is by helping us understand the past. A strange photo from World War I, once a forgotten image, is now the center of mystery, thanks to AI. Researchers used powerful AI tools to study the photo. First, they scanned it using high-resolution software. The AI broke the image into tiny details, much smaller than the human eye could see. It looked at the threads on the uniforms, the style of the boots, and even the reflection in the soldiers' eyes. From these small pieces, it gave new answers. Most shocking of all, the device on his wrist glowed faintly. The AI noticed it looked like a smartwatch, a product made more than 100 years after the photo was taken. Next, the AI compared the man's face with millions of photos from the past and present. It used facial recognition to find a match, but found no one. The man did not exist in any known records. Not in military files, not in any census. It was as if he had never been born, at least not in that time. Then came another discovery. A journal found near the photo's location was also scanned. Some parts were written in symbols no one could understand, but AI translated them. The text spoke of jumping through zones and hiding tech from locals. It talked about being stuck in a past war. This gave new life to an old theory, that the man was not from that time at all. Before AI, this story would have remained a quiet mystery. But now, people around the world began asking questions. AI also helped study voices and written stories. An old woman from Belgium had once said she saw a man appear and vanish near her village during the war. No one believed her, but AI matched her words with weather records, war timelines, and location data. Everything she said checked out. It gave her story new value. Across the world, people started using AI to check other strange photos and tales. Old books, papers, and pictures were re-examined. Some showed strange shapes in the sky. Others mentioned people speaking in unknown ways. Most had been ignored, but now they were looked at again with fresh eyes. The story of the photo is still a mystery, but AI gave it power. It turned a single picture into a worldwide search for truth. People now wonder, how much do we really know about time, history, and the future? AI is not just helping with new technology. It is also opening doors to the past. It helps find patterns, read forgotten text, and see what was once invisible. In this case, it helped bring attention to a man who may not belong in the photo. Or maybe he belongs more than anyone else ever knew. What makes this story special is not just the science, it's the feeling of curiosity. AI brought us closer to a puzzle that crosses time. It reminds us that some answers still wait to be found, and sometimes the past hides clues to things we can hardly imagine. A single photo, a century-old moment frozen in time. Who would have thought that zooming in would unlock a mystery buried for generations? It just goes to show, history still has secrets waiting to be uncovered, even in the quiet corners of an old photograph. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more untold mysteries, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a moment. Got a theory about what was really in that photo? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and remember, the past is never really gone. Sometimes, it's just waiting for us to take a closer look. See you in the next mystery.